Indeed, Boji Wonyumo. My guy is not that good, but Boji Wonyumo, right? Yeah, Onane Nyame. So you welcome back from that break. Doctor has taken his seat, and so it's about time for us to get to business. So I called him prior to the NPP primaries, and he told me emphatically that, Ruben, I'm on grounds working, and I promise you I'll be coming as soon as I get the victory. And lo and behold, he was declared the winner out of 5 contenders, which means that he is the candidate elect for this constituency in the name of the NPP. Looks like a done deal for him, is it? The NPP has over 30,000 margin. I mean, the NDC is to, if they are to overturn the deficit, over 30,000, is it realistic? Well, we are going to discuss that and get to know whether he's complacent because it's a done deal for him. Good morning once again. Honorable, you're welcome.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure and an honor seeing you right here. It's been long overdue.
Well, forgive me, but thanks and congratulations on your TV station.
Thank you.
And I'm happy you're in the community, which is the Anyaa Sowutuom community. Okay. And specifically this area, it's close to where I live, so I'm hoping to visit more often.
Very well.
And once again, sorry I delayed in coming from your previous engagement, but I'm here today.
Sure.
So that we can have a wonderful conversation. More importantly, about the development of our area and also politics of the nation.
Okay. Do you by chance support any political party? Are you a sports enthusiast?
Political or sports?
Did I say? I mean, any football club. I mean, we are too in tune with politics, but we get to politics. But I meant any football club.
Well, with football, I'll be quite honest. I don't follow a lot of the European leagues, but I watch as and when time permits. But I can see Liverpool fans are very happy. That much I know.
That you know. Okay, so how about the local? Since you said that.
The local, since I've been, let's say, I'm a coalman by birth, so naturally it's important that you stick to your hometown, you know. So co-united, and when I can, it'll be hard to focus because I've been living in Accra for the longest time.
Okay. How well do you know Accra to folk, or but you not really?
Well, like I said, I'm not a soccer person, but if you, my real sports prior to completing university was basketball. So forgive me.
When we were young, if you line up, let's say 10 students or pupils, and you ask them what would you want to be in future, at least you'll get like 5 of them saying, I want to be a medical doctor. You are one.
Yes. I'm a medical doctor by profession.
Take us through the journey to becoming a medical
okay, so it's not something I heavily wanted to do. I mean, I grew up in that environment. My father is a surgeon by profession, so looking at the long hours, the sacrifices he made, I was not very much interested, and more importantly, he wasn't spending time enough with us. That was my perception of medicine. So I was shying away from it to a large extent. So my first degree was actually in economics and chemistry, which I did outside. I was in St. Peter's here, and then I went out to do that because I was more monetary conscious in a way. So I did economics because when it came to business management, economics was superior to business. So I took the hard one, which was economics. And I worked still in the healthcare domain for 5 years. And in my visit to Ghana, I decided that it was time to come help the nation and my parents. So I took up medicine. Fortunately, I got accepted into the University of Ghana Medical School. So I completed that, worked in a few places, VRA, Akosombo, Police Hospital, Pantang, and then currently with our private hospital, which is Deseret Hospital. So I have a very broad background in terms of my foreign experience, and then in terms of my business background, in terms of economics, and then now medical, and now, if I should say, political, in terms of my political journey, which started largely around I'd say 2013-14 to date. So you know, that's been
okay. So we will come back to why you joined the NPP, and then are you really a member? For how long have you been a member? And all that. But I want us to quickly look at the disturbances that at our various registration centers. And get to talk about that.
So with regards to the registration exercise, I think first of all, one, I'll commend the Electoral Commission. They've done marvelously well, considering over the time period this thing has been going on. I'll commend the agents, the Electoral Commission, officers, I guess, for doing tirelessly in terms of from almost 7 a.m. till when they close. And what I've become aware is even when they close at the 6 p.m. there's a lot of legwork after that. Sometimes they get to their homes around 9 p.m. and then they're up again very early to prepare for the day. So we must commend them. They're doing the nation's duty and they're executing it as well as they can under the various conditions. Now, on the other side is also Ghanaians ourselves who are registering. I think we've gone out in our numbers, barring all fears and barring all the things that people were trying to use to, as it were, scare us from, in a way, exercising our civic duty. I think that largely our development as a nation, our progress as a nation depends on people's ability to cast their vote, and also whatever metrics government will use in terms of allocation of resources largely also depends on the voter population, and I think in that regard my small plea to anybody within the Anyaa Sowutuom enclave or community or constituency who has not gone out to register, my plea is that if you really think about our development and then in terms of the allocation that government will give to us as in Anyaa Sowutuom, then please go out and register, because it is based on those numbers that we can argue out at the local government that, hey, this is the voter population, which is a mirror image of the population of people within this community, and as such we need our roads or whatever it is we go and beg for. So I will plead with those who have not gone, and more importantly those who have an inclination to go outside the community to register, that we beg you, make sure you register where you live, make sure you are counted, because my case to local government and to government in general will be largely dependent on our voter population. So that is one thing. And then yes, there's been hiccups, there's been challenges. There are some centers where the devices might have issues. There are some centers where social distancing is an issue because of either overexcitement or lack of a better understanding of the need to do the social distancing, and also there are a few, as it were, radicals who are counterproductive in their work in terms of trying to disrupt the process, trying to, as it were, macho their way and have their way. Sometimes they wish to have only their friends go register at the mercy of all those in line, and I think those are unacceptable. And I think I forgot one bit there are nurses at all the stations, and there are policemen at all the stations. So we also have to commend them. We thank them for the security they provide. And when I say security, I think as it stands now, biological security is being provided by our nurses, who are checking temperatures at the various centers, who are also ensuring that people are washing their hands and using the hand sanitizer. So I really think that all in all, everybody who's playing a role, we thank them. People are hauling chairs for people to sit. People are also providing canopies. I mean, everybody is supporting very, very, very much nicely.
Okay.
Yeah.
During our newspaper segment, we read about the Minister for Special Initiatives firing a gun. I mean, having a gun in the air, threatening people, or in quotes, self-defense. And is it really appropriate for a leader of a caliber demonstrating such acts in public? Just say on it.
Well, I mean, there's one quote that I've come to appreciate, and it was used by His Excellency Bawumia, which he says that you and I were not there. And what I'm trying to say is that the environment she finds herself in, I cannot appreciate the Awutu environment. What I mean by that is she's not at an East Legon location. She's not at the University of Ghana location where there are calm students trying to exercise their rights. And we may misjudge what happened if we look at it in the context of like Anyaa Sowutuom, where things are very calm. Our mothers and sisters and brothers are acting themselves in a very, let me put it, cordial, respectful way. So if we judge, forgetting the context, in terms of the kind of macho men or women, shall I say, who happen to confide in the Awutu, the area, then we may be making a mistake. For instance, nothing against, certain places in Medina, but if you go do gentle work there, you never get registered. I hope you understand. So if there's...
Must it be the case?
It shouldn't be, but I'm just saying, there's always something about the environment and the people that calls for different types of action. Now, at the core of this, we can't even guarantee if truly it was a dud gun. I mean, what I mean by a dud gun, was it a real gun that was fired? I don't even know. And more importantly, I can't even ascertain if truly she fired the gun. I mean, all of these things are things we have to wait for.
According to one of our reporters, she did fire and told us that. I mean,
that's one eyewitness.
But I think the location doesn't really matter.
That is one eyewitness.
She's an idol in the society, hence so it doesn't really matter the rowdiness of the situation or the people around her. She should still have demonstrated the kind of leadership that was entrusted in her by the president as a minister.
Agreed, but there's one thing I'm hearing, which is that she felt threatened, and from our experience, I think Ursula got a bit of a shuffle in 2012, around a similar, situation. So sometimes what makes people feel threatened can be very different. For instance, if I see a young man who's been threatening my life all the time in the crowd and he's approaching, you don't know what relationship I have with this young man. So if I feel threatened and I say it, you would have to take my word for it. I hope you understand. So in as much as she claims, or I've heard that it was in self-defense, I think the investigations should be allowed to proceed without the noise. Investigations should be allowed to proceed without the forceful intervention of political parties or even the president. You know, I'm so unhappy about people, excuse me to say, trying to bring the president into this issue, because there's a separate incident that occurred.
She's an appointee of the president.
Oh, and she's also
and
the
anything
MP.
that dents her image automatically then the
she's
image
also
of
the
the
MP
president.
for the area.
Exactly.
And I think it's very likely that if we allow the police investigations to carry on, then based on the reportage that comes, we may be able to make a claim. I believe in that. People should be given a fair hearing first, or you know, before we cast judgment. And I will hesitate to make any further comments about this situation, because I really think that once there's self-defense in there, we should leave it and then let the police do their work, which is they can come out and tell us conclusively that she erred or she didn't. So that is what I think we should look at.
I'll be going for a break shortly, but before I do so, I want you to quickly take us through your journey of joining the NPP and what attracted you to the New Patriotic Party.
Oh, okay. So the break or now?
No, now. Before we
okay.
go, yes, I'll come.
So with regards to joining the NPP, I mean, for the longest bit, we used to live within the Kwame Batel's constituency, which is the Ablekuma North.
Okay.
Way back when I was a child, we lived at official town Adomako, and we used to have meetings during the Edubuahin era. So that is what I know of MPP.
Okay.
My old man is Achim. He's from Abomusu. My old girl, my mother is Kwewu from Imprai. So, so naturally, somehow, we've been MPP all this time. Now, when I became adult, I mean, I then had to question myself, because it's important as a young man. Although my dad had imbibed in us the MPP, you know, doctrine of progressiveness, hard work, discipline, and trustworthiness, I decided that I had to make that decision my own, and I think as early as 2008, in looking at the alternative, which was the NDC or even CPP, I came to that conclusive, you know, decision that, listen, my upbringing, my way of thinking, and the way I want to do my politics, I can't marry that with any other party than the NPP.
What's the way of politics?
I felt that I believed in a party that was very interested in bringing about transformation for people, and transformation that is measurable, and transformation that is for the masses, not for
measurable for the masses,
and truthful in their delivery of whatever they believed in.
I'll come back for us to continue. I want us to take a very quick break.
Like I said,
if measurable, the masses, and truthfulness. So I'll come back for us to do that. So let's take a quick break. You are still watching the national platform here on Omi Television with me, Ruben Tete, and I have in the studios the parliamentary candidate for Anyaa Sowutuom constituency on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party. We are back shortly.
For Yesu, me cry dofu. Dan when ni share me imagine kwa me ni obia obechi chachi me reni na Sowutuom me ni obia obechi Jimmy, Miri Rain, na Sowutuom. Shemima, Womenima, Shemi Wakwan, Namin Fasu, Mama Bravo, and so any Shemi Wakwan, Mamin Fasu, Mama Bravo, and so.
Indeed, Yesu Nkutone Yenida, so that's from Joe Metal. This guy does very well in terms of making sure he drives us into the spiritual realm. And I had already started my worship. I forgot I was in a program. So we are back in the studios, you're still watching the national platform. Right here on Omi Television with me, Ruben Tete, and having the studios the parliamentary candidate for the Anyaa Sowutuom Constituency in the name of the New Patriotic Party here with me, Dr. Dixon Adomako Kissi. So we're continuing with our discussions right here. So, Doc, we are back.
Yeah,
so you're taking us through your journey.
Yeah, so as I was saying, NPP, the New Patriotic Party, was more attractive to me than the NDC. In terms of, I think the NDC largely has become more of a propagandist party without hard work.
You think so?
I mean, that's you know, I mean,
without hard work.
Looking at especially the way forward for this country, I don't think there's any party that can do better for Ghana than the MPP party, and I really say that based on my experience, first as a citizen and secondly now as a politician, in the sense that we have delivered. This is a party that cancelled nurses' allowances. This is a party that put us in darkness for a long time, as in Doomsaw. And if I should tell you the number of barbering shops, catering businesses that were closed because of Doomsaw, huge amounts, and lives that were lost.
Doc, if you say they put us in it, was it deliberate?
Well, as far as I know, the MPP came and we have light. That's what I know.
They solved it before the MPP took power.
No, I think if it was solved, we wouldn't have booted them out of power.
No, it was solved.
December 9th.
It was solved.
Solution around June prior to we coming was not real solution.
Well, people had felt the heat, but they were able to solve it.
I think there's magic done prior to election, which is different. Sustaining it all through this past 4 years, that is real work. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
But the fundamentals were laid before NPP took power. Sustaining. But
because
the fundamentals are strong.
You remember, not to go back to that, but you remember Ejako at the time, who was in charge of energy, made it clear that it was a money issue, appropriation of funds, more so than technical. Are we forgetting that?
But
are we forgetting that?
But they made sure the problem was solved.
No.
Be it fundamental, be it financial.
NPP could have chosen to not fund very well this program and would have done so. So that is where I come in the sense that the finances of this project, MPP has done well to sustain it, and we are not in Doomsaw era. We've almost forgotten about it, largely because of a better governance, better administrative work, and that is where I come in with the likes of the Baomiers who are at it all the time, making sure. I mean, look at how Ghana has become attractive to the foreign world. That alone, from a financial standpoint, to go and make a presentation as today our finance minister will make, and to have people throwing, money at you is not a small task. The last thing I need to sometimes advise our people is that, listen, in procuring loans, if you are not attractive, people will not give you. How do you become attractive? It's based on what you project, and you need knowledge, you need hard work. Look at how much we've gained from using electronic means at the ports. I think recently they mentioned a huge sum of money that we are generating, money that was passing through a net, if I should say, a loophole, and now Ghana government is having all of this to bless our nation in terms of our infrastructure and development. And I really think that we should commend the MPP for that. Listen, how many students are enjoying some education and would not have enjoyed? And I think that at the crust of all of this, I for one, I've said countless that I didn't mind being educated under a tree as long as I'm getting quality education, because as much as
getting the quality,
as much as the environment is important, boss, I did my sciences at St. Peter's. I excelled so well in a very fun environment outside, and my successes are based on my academic work at the very early age at St. Peter's. And mind you, the St. Peter's environment, as much as it's nice, does not compare to a high school in the US.
But if you,
I understand what I'm saying.
I get you.
And that is my point. That, listen, I for one, that is everybody has their prerogative.
It's subjective, though, in terms of the quality you are mentioning now.
Oh,
because if you look at the contact hours taken into consideration, the double track and others,
which is now over. The double track system will be a thing of the past in a few months, because now there are schools available. Now, my whole point is that, boss, education is actually employment. Let's keep that in mind. If you're a student and we ask you what work you do, the right thing you say is, I'm a student. It's employment. So if you think about it, if we are really to even talk about employment in this country, all the youth who may not have been in school and be home are now gainfully employed.
I want you to explain that to me, how education becomes employment.
You are studying.
Yes.
You are preparing for a bigger employment, which is life after school.
So this whole conversation hinges on the free SHS.
Absolutely.
How many of the free SHS graduates will automatically continue their basic, further their education?
Now, human capital, largely depends on your level of education. And I, for one, will tell you that if all the drivers in this country have that minimum education of senior high school, our accidents would reduce. If I tell you this, would you believe me? Absolutely, because your judgment improves with more education.
I'm not sure I believe that.
Oh, your judgment. Your judgment, decision making improves with more education over the years. You see, I don't fancy education being strictly about me school, me pejuma. No. What should translate as a good educational person, reformed person, is that when somebody brings a problem to you, you weigh more things in making your decision.
But you agree with me that it's a well, school of thought like that, where you just go and pass through the system. I'm an SHS leaver, and that ends it.
If you go through SHS senior and you don't even pick up how to read and write, then we have a problem. And I can tell you that none of the people going through this SHS will come out with inability to do 1 + 1. And I think that overall, Ghana's human capital, human potential has been elevated because many of our people who may not have been able to read and write,
I want to come back to that,
are now in that fray. And when we are talking as a nation, we have a backbone of people who have had basic education as opposed to a very small population.
But the NDC started a progressively free SHS.
We're talking about, if you are the person who's left out of school, you would not talk about progressively free.
There are challenges.
Because you know what's beautiful? There are many students who are excelling who would not have had the chance. And that is where we have to think about it. You understand? And the thing is, sometimes Mbwebi eba at an opportune time and it changes your entire life.
I agree with that.
And I don't think that any child should wait for progressive. When their chance passed them by, it's over. Because you and I, if at the age of about 13, 14, 15, we don't get the chance, and you call me at the age of 18, so I remember starting free SHS, boss, I will not come. By then, I'm hardened in whatever vice I'm doing. Do you know the number of quote unquote people who may have ended up doing cigarettes, social vices, things that now have a future? And I even am happier for the women, because they would have gotten married much earlier, some of them. You know, some of them may have also be engaged in other things, like teenage pregnancy, which now, because they have hope that, oh, I am studying, I'm learning, it takes their mind off these things, and they are emboldened, empowered as women. And boss, the benefits far outweigh the negatives.
But the NDC deserves some commendation.
I'm not here not commending them, but my point is that, listen, this man came, and let me tell you, one thing that Nana Addo has achieved, okay, there were people even within the MPP who were saying that Nana should hold off on the free SHS for maybe the second term, or maybe 2 years into his reign. But Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, the president, said, listen, come what may, wherever we need to find money to make this project work, we will do it. And Napo and Nana will go into history of Ghana as the best education reformist in our nation for a long time, because they have done what a lot could not have done. And I as I sit back now, I think it was a remarkable decision of our president, and many of our students who will be graduating will look back and appreciate what he's done for them in their lives.
SHS graduates?
Yes, and their parents. And their parents. And I even sit here happy because, boss, some students who may have had to come to me for small, help, now government is taking that. Do you know how many church leaders have called me to thank Nana Addo? So many, because a lot of the bishops and reverends support students in their SHS programs, and now the church is free because that burden has been lifted by the president. And that is what I say, that I would choose good governance over any propagandist work ever.
You think NDC does solely propaganda?
Largely, okay. Because it's a lot of noise without work, and
think so?
I will forever denounce people who talk a lot and do less.
Are you
work.
pretending not to see the infrastructure development that the NDC put in place, which is even helping us now?
Infrastructure at what cost? Because let me tell you, there are certain infrastructures that
cost comes in now.
I mean everything has pluses and minuses.
Okay.
You see, so when you put up a structure which could have served a larger community, or in a very simple term, one of their projects could have done more hospitals than quote unquote they did. And that is where you feel that, listen, these guys shouldn't be brought back ever.
But if
you understand,
they've built a hospital which could have built, let's say, 4, but that money, I'm just trying to put across system, and that money is used to build 1, and you have come for 4 years and there's nothing to show. Which one do you think is
let me
help employ people?
I'm in the health domain.
Yes.
Okay, so let me try and tell you something. If you're very visionary and you look in retrospect, you ask yourself, how did the president come up with this rush to do 275 ambulances, which have largely improved on our health capacity considering COVID-19? Look at COVID-19 and how it rushed into devastating our health system. Imagine if commuting people from their homes to the isolation centers, if we were now going to try and get these ambulances into the country. Imagine how fast could we have done that?
Anyway, I think if we had to go on and on and on, I'm sure you would.
I mean, you can see that this president was so far better prepared for this issue. Although he didn't come about COVID, he was much prepared. One, he motivated our nurses by restoring their allowances. Okay, he motivated our doctors by now restoring graduate education. You know, you cannot do just infrastructure if you think about development. It is human development that is also very important. Doctors can achieve more under certain environments than infrastructure can achieve without the doctors. I hope you understand. So I love the concept.
I'm struggling to understand that, because if you have more doctors and you have less facilities, where are they going to work?
My point, which you should appreciate, is that what I'm saying is, for instance, if we fail to develop the people who work in the facilities, then we haven't achieved much. I would always put
development here means
the two, and more importantly, if let me tell you the beauty of innovation. You are more innovative and you can do more with less, okay, by virtue of your acumen, by virtue of your technical skills, more so than the environment you're working in. Why do I say that? The two boys that did airplane, Oswald in Ohio, it wasn't by virtue of the infrastructure, it was by virtue of their thinking capacity in terms of engineering. So if you are developing and you feel the human aspect, the human component, infrastructures don't take care of patients. I hope you understand. It is the knowledge and the technical ability of the individual. That is why you have somebody doing this water washing thing with solar by virtue of his knowledge, not that he had a very huge lab.
I don't think the context is quite different.
People have achieved much in their garage in the US than to have a huge research.
The jurisdictions are different.
Oh no, I'm just saying, even here, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of our mechanics do marvelous things considering the gadgets they have.
Doctor, let's look at the medical profession.
Okay, so in the medical profession,
yes.
let me tell you this.
With a doctor.
For instance, let me tell you, as somebody who's very good at stitching, okay, if you put me in a kitchen, empo, not obi pra, with a few things, I can do magic because of my training. But if the theater is big and I don't have the training, the theater cannot take care of the patient. Are you understanding me? So you can't do one without the other. And I will believe that if we have people who are endowed with knowledge and equally some infrastructure, we will go far. But when you do just the building and you ignore the human component, you have failed.
What did the magic for you winning the Anyaa Sowutuom seats ahead of your compatriots?
Well, with the Anyaa Sowutuom seat, you know, this was my second time.
Yeah.
My first time, I battled out a little bit with the current Foreign Affairs Minister, who's our incumbent MP, such a lovely woman, and I lost by a small margin in 2015. Now, I think largely my win has been because of my long-standing relationship with the delegates, more so than anything. You know, I've as it were nurtured the community over the past years, and I think that is what really made it happen. I've known them, I've been their doctor, I've been their friend, and I think it built some level of trust over the years. They've come to like me for what I say and what I do, and I think that's what.
So let's look at combining medicine to politics. Because we know how helpful you've been in this constituency.
Yeah.
Most people will talk or attest to the fact that you are very accommodating and all. We need you at the hospital. Stay there. Why are you doing the politics?
Yeah, you know, this was one of the questions I had when I interviewed, and what I said was that, listen, from a public health standpoint, what I'm doing for 100 people, now through policies, I'll be able to do things for a larger population. So in a day I see 100, but the policies I'm going to be working on will touch 1 million or people in the several thousands. And that is what I believe in, that instead of 10 people enjoying Dr. Kissi, now we're going to have 100 people enjoying Dr. Kissi's work. And I think by that I would have helped Oman Ghana far better.
Dr. Kissi knows that our politics here in the country is quite difficult if your government is not in power. How does Dr. Kissi plan to make sure that he helps his people in that number that he's mentioned? Should his government, I'm not saying are losing, but should they lose, what plans can you put in place to help this number of people in your constituency?
Well, personally, I believe in both governmental and non-governmental in terms of your work for the nation. So being a private enterprise person, you'd know that I'll be more inclined to seeking help anywhere, both within the country and outside the country, to assist in the development of Anyaa Sowutuom. I had started before, and granted, because I was not empowered by the government, sometimes you don't get all your red tapes cut. But now that I'm in government, some of the red tapes that was making it difficult to access help across the world will be a thing of the past. So I would encourage all of us to look within and outside. And I'm not going to be working strictly with only government, but businesses, because I think business should lead, and then government somewhat should support. So if you're thinking that private enterprises should lead, if I can cite one thing, look at the likes of Microsoft, look at the likes of Apple. They are not government enterprises, but they are leading society. We were talking about Facebook as you're streaming live on Facebook. Zook Makabeg, young guy, private enterprise, but look at what they've transformed the world into, global village now. So I'm in that thinking, that mindset, and when you do that, you're not solely dependent on MPP NDC.
Okay.
I hope you understand. Okay. You're thinking about the greater environment out there.
It sort of exposes you more.
Absolutely. So I'm not going to be locked up in just government. We will look wherever, whatever, whoever can help us develop our community.
So you're going to abandon the practice?
Once a medical doctor, always a medical doctor.
So you can always come.
I mean, what I mean by that is that, I mean, if you approach me with an issue, I can give you an advice, recommendation, and it can also help you change something.
I want Doctor to take us through how he felt when he was declared as the winner. I saw a footage where you were very calm, relaxed, and you were talking to the Foreign Affairs Minister. I want you to take us through the feeling.
Well, out of any desire to do politics and to run for office, at the back of your mind is a possibility of failure. But if you fear failure, you don't achieve. And like I said, this was my second time, so I have tasted defeat before, and I meant not to taste it again, and I worked even harder. So when the resounding victory came, where the gap of 30 votes distanced me from the second runner, I was very joyed, and in fact, the very first people I was thinking about were my parents. That because they would have been devastated, heartbroken if their son's second attempt was a failure, and that was my biggest joy, that I can go back to my parents, mommy and daddy, and say we've won. And then more importantly, I appreciate the voters, the delegates who had faith and believed in me that I could take us to a better height than where we are now. And I was overcome by joy and melancholy in a way. Tears of joy came in, so I was in my down and up moments. And I'm living the moment. I'm grateful, and there's a lot of work ahead, sleepless nights, to make sure that our youth can get jobs. At the tail end of all of this is helping people get jobs and money in their pocket from working. You know, I believe that if I can achieve something, it's the one thing I want to help, you know, create avenues. So what we will do by way of educating our viewers is that looking for job is a job by itself, and it has to be done very well, in the sense that sometimes we don't tailor our resumes for the job we are looking for, and that has been a hindrance. And if you're trying to do media work, your language, your lingo should be in the media domain. If you're doing banking, retail, your lingo, how you carry yourself to the interview should also be in that, you know, persona. Because if you do a one size CV fit all, you fail. So we need to do some resume boot camps, job searching boutiques, so that people, our young ones who have completed school and are still waiting for jobs, can enjoy these boot camps for training you on how to get a job. And also our artisans, we need to step up our game in terms of our seamstress, tailors, carpentry work and things like that. And when we do, I think growth is what we'll see, and that is what I'm hoping for. So in my very first 100 days when I'm sworn in, what I'm going to do is you're going to see me.
It's a foregone conclusion as you speak.
Well, I said when.
When? Okay.
You know.
Okay, I get
you know, if I say as I get sworn in, that's a different thing. But when?
But it looks like a foregone conclusion.
Well, I mean, as you already said, there's a huge deficit that the NDC have to try and fill, and for you know, for them, their challenges, Dr. Kissi's policies and development plans does not know any colors or party, and I think that I'm going to dip into even what they have and widen the 30K.
Wow.
You know, so that's what I want to do, because I mean, what is important is that, you know, there's this thing which we need to appreciate. When you go to California and you're a Republican, there's no point in voting, you know, because largely it's democratic, and they are going to remain like that forever, because there's a benefit in being that way. So if Anyaa Sowutuom has been dubbed MPP, to the NDC friends of mine, let's keep it that way. It will help our development far better.
They should keep it that way.
It will help our development far better, so that so that at all points in time, everybody knows that as Anyaa Sowutuom Chale is a strong MPP domain, and as such, when I go into the MPP, you know, terrain, the help will come in bulk.
I'll come to your first 100 days in office. You were about mentioning that. I'll come to that. But when I kept the flyer on my status and Facebook, some of the questions I had was that the NPP feel complacent because we've given them almost 10 years since 2012. They've underrated us. They feel that is their, can I put it in code, their World Bank. Hence, the developmental projects are not coming as expected.
Well,
the rate at which they expect it to be.
I want to assure them that there's a new beginning with Dr. Adomako Kissi, and they should give me that chance. Okay, part of the challenges is why I've come, because I also felt that we could do more than what we're doing, and I can assure them that by a year or two from now, they would appreciate the change that has come, and this change by no means was easy. Trust me, this change in terms of paradigm for managing this constituency, and as much as we are still MPP, there's still a big change in terms of the direction that we are going to go.
In terms of who is spearheading
the affairs. So what I want them to know is that sometimes it is about the individual who's steering affairs, and I can assure them that where we failed, we are going to improve. And I'm a diehard developmentalist person, and that is why I'm here. When it's flooding, I am flooded. Okay, and for me, one of the things that will come out of my administration will be an institute for flood management, and that is something we are working on.
Institute for flood management,
because I believe that it is one of our biggest challenges, but out of that we can also become the leaders and the forefront of flood management in the country, and I think I aspire for that, so that anybody will in the future fall on us on flood management, and that is at the core of my things to do. Jobs, flood management, obviously our road networks, and then making this place a happy place for families to grow and live and work. So these are the things I'm hoping for, and I thank you ever again for this opportunity to discuss these things, and I can assure you that myself and your TV station, I don't know, is it Omai or how do you Omi? Okay, you know, anyways, that's what I'm hoping that we'll have a long future, and I'll be coming more and more to tell people about projects that are ongoing. And I'll communicate. I'll be available to the community.
There's this notion that, I mean, when they come to you, they will tell you, when I get there, you hear from me, or I'll keep in touch, I'll be coming. But when they get to the highest echelon of leadership, when you want to get to them, you hardly find them. One of the criticisms your MP, current MP, has received is that she is the Foreign Affairs Minister, hence she doesn't have the time for the constituency. She's always traveling on national assignments, for which developmental projects in the constituency isn't as expected. Should you be given a position where you wouldn't be in touch with your constituents? How are you going to manage that? You are given a health minister. You have to concentrate on health.
One thing is certain. In my management, I believe in committee arrangements. So one thing they should expect to see is that Anyaa Sowutuom, the work will be done by all of us. This time it's not going to be an individual thing. All of us are going to be engaged in this process. So all of us are going to be part of helping with the development, the jobs, and the improvement of our livelihood in this constituency. So it wouldn't be just about me. It's going to be about all of us. It's a hands-on approach that I'm bringing on board. So in all honesty, as much as I may be away, there'll be people on the ground working hard for my administration, and that is what I believe in.
Okay.
I would embolden, encourage, empower people and resource them to be able to still carry the work out regardless. But one thing is for sure, I am coming to serve the people, and that is at the core of my heart. I'm coming to serve, and I'll be the people's man, for lack of a better phrase. I'll be around, and you know, I have a huge asset in the community, which is the hospital. I can't leave it. I will always be around because I'm attached to the hospital, and you know, doctors have a soft spot for helping the sick, and because of that, I'll always be around within this community, and they can find me.
I received a call from a friend, and what if I can quote him? I say, "Asa papa na say or NPP ni now." So I say, "Other parties no, I'm open asem." What's the secret?
Well, I mean, now you can believe when I say that I'm going to dip into the other party.
Well,
now,
Adote will be here. I'm sure we will find time and have you, and then
I mean, you know,
aspirants. So he will also get to say his
is not
side.
a problem at all.
He's not a problem.
He's not a problem at all. You know, the thing is, over the years, I've been attending to people, and as a medical doctor, you attend to all who are sick, whether MPP, NDC, CPP. So that is my strength, okay? And they know I relate to everybody very well. I don't look at you by your nature of your, let me say, your fabric. I don't look at you by the nature of your tribe or culture. I attend to everybody equally. I'm a very fair-minded person, and I think the opposition folks, some of them are my best friends, in the sense that they've known me, and I'm not going to struggle, because over the years I've been attending to their fathers and mothers and cousins, and you know, I'm their friend in the community. So I think that is my small secret. I've been in the community, and I started out first as a friend, then their doctor, then now they are politician. So
okay. You were about mentioning your in office, your first 100 days in office.
Yeah.
The plans that you put in place.
Yeah.
I want you to outline that clearly, because your constituents are watching. Yes. It's very important.
So one thing, like I said, you know, at the core is I'm here to serve the good people of Anyaa and Sowutuom. And in my first 100 days, I'm going to marry more with business, because I believe that the businesses, when they should grow, then we can all have something for property to develop. So and I believe that if we make our community business friendly, then jobs will also flow, because one company or enterprise created might employ 2 people or more, and if we don't invite them on board, we can't. And fortunately for us, we have a college, 2 colleges, Maranatha and Pentecost University. So we're in a community where people can start from crèche all the way up to you know, university level, and we have to take pride in that. And we have to let the employers out there know that Anyaa Sowutuom has a mine of possible employees, so that they come here. We need to, as part of my projects, have our own trade fair here. And what I mean by that is, we won't go to trade fair in Accra. We should be able to yearly have our own trade shows in our community. And do you know how many jobs that can create, just having your trade show here? And then do you know how many companies will be more excited about building something within our community? So by and large, I would hope that all services that government provides, we can access it here and not go out. For instance, we need our own SNIT office here. We need our own internal revenue office here. We need our own everything, birth registry, death registry, everything governmental, including, God willing, our own passport office. You understand? So that we don't have to go outside of Anyaa Sowutuom for anything.
But you know, some of these decisions have to be in line with the national decision.
If you don't project it, you can't achieve. So this is a vision we have. And the vision, like I said, is that we want to be able to access everything governmental here. If you go to Germany or even the US, your next post office, you can access your passport. You can get your passport from your post office. You know, so why can't we do that? You know, fortunately, now we have DVLA within our community. So if we have DVLA, we can have a huge fire station. What I mean, so that we don't need somebody coming from First Light to come and put out fires here. Okay, so that is the thinking that I'm bringing. And you know that once we have a fire station here, at least there will be some women selling to the fire servicemen. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And this is how we're going to build our Anyaa Sowutuom. Very futuristic, very self-dependent, very self-reliant. And I believe that if we can attract trade ministry to set up an office here, which we don't have. There are other constituencies that have a trade business office. We don't have. There are other constituencies that have a passport office. You know, I think somewhere in the eastern region, our foreign affairs minister inaugurated a passport office, and I think Somenya somewhere there also has. So we are going to push that agenda so that these things become local, and our people don't have to travel far for all of these things.
If you don't have a fertile grounds, or if the grounds are not fertile for all these things to be done, it will remain in your head. Your plans will remain in your head.
DVLA may have seemed impossible, but it's happened because of the will. And I think that once I'm sowing these seeds, it will fall on good grounds and it will germinate. And now we have a courthouse within this community, so some court cases will be handled here. That is monumental.
I'm sure we can open the phone lines now.
That is monumental.
So that, doctors,
no problem.
Constituents will start calling whilst we
will
continue.
take a few. I think we have some time. No problem.
All right. Now I want us to look at your road situation here.
Our road situation.
Exactly.
Our road situation.
where did you when coming? Which of the roads did you use?
I used Santa Maria race course and then down.
How was the road situation?
Well, it appears one of the bridges is being worked on at Kwashibu.
Yeah.
So there's a diversion, which is also another road project ongoing, but I think it's been suspended because of the bridge. So we'd hope that the bridge is done. It's actually a redoing of an old bridge. Clearly, I mean, everywhere we go in this community, roads are an issue, drainage is an issue, and these are the things I need to sell to the powers that be. And what I mean by that is the finance minister has to hear, road minister has to hear about our problem, our plight. And that is why I say that if I should go to them and say that, hey, this is our voter population, this is what we add to government, you better listen to us, they'll listen to us. Okay, so once again, back to my point, this registration exercise is tied to our development as a community. So everybody who lives here, works here, kindly register and get your voice added to this call, so that when I talk, I'll be talking for the voters in this community. What their heartfelt desires are: largely roads, largely drainage, largely jobs, largely good health facilities. So this is why I'm very passionate about this registration exercise, and the fact that people who live here should go and register.
So what's your relationship with the other contenders you competed with?
Oh, we I mean, I've gone around with some of them. Most of them are also supporting. I mean, as much as we after battled our scars, I think we've healed them very well. And our priority now is to ensure that we get round two as governance, so that we can continue the good work that is ongoing. We cannot retrogress as a nation, and I believe that, like I said earlier, the MPP party is the party to keep pushing us forward, and it's not a party for just the party people. It's a party for Ghana. It's a party that is addressing Ghanaian issues. Free SHS has no colors. The NDC child walks in, the MPP child also walks in, the CPP child also walks in, and broadly speaking, all the social programs that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has brought on board has been for the nation. Let me cite one example. This planting for foods and jobs. As you will recall, there was a past NDC MP who benefited from it and came out and said that, hey, listen, all jokes aside, it is not my party in government, but through these programs, I've enjoyed all of
our
this.
lines have been activated already,
Wow.
so we have a caller online. So if you can hear me, good morning. Okay, so the call has dropped, so we'll get back to him. Yeah.
So there are stories of objective NPP farmers, NDC farmers, who have come out and said that, listen, truly, this program has brought about change in my output and change in my revenues. I don't think...
Okay, so there's another call.
Okay.
Good morning, your name and where you calling us from, please? Yeah, good morning, your name and where you calling us from?
Hey, good morning, good morning.
Morning.
But maybe Adia Mona, Mr. Palace Farm.
Okay, yet you.
And the Kissi and not to the American say, you bought Yamis Empire, Kekene Eman. You were why Anyaa Sowutuom so many years ago. Kai. If you had the cheek, the healthy, what do you mind? On single lipa, or she a waura one, and the woofers. It is Anna, or your killing to one inside. And see your Parliamentary said, you all coming in now, you would you say a yanoko if we Nakumamu and a walker. Or to a fast out. Because so many years, the Siciliano and Kawayan Sumia and Kanababu. Wayan Sumo, Yamin the Yen 19. When you have put Emma Tammy, that's so. And yet we are a floating voter, a target cheap 100%.
We are floating voter.
Or we look around my Adriana, I increase the access for that years.
Floating voter,
what did you have other couple? It's made them walk on, send them and come.
Okay, we didn't need you.
Within the Muna.
I just say Mungo Day. Bye. Yes, so we are so for me. Say, only the account one. I said, we didn't mean
I'm also religious.
Okay.
I mean, I don't, go about, because of our practice as doctors, we don't talk much usually about that aspect. But I'm very religious. Christian background, and I truly, as she rightly said, I mean, the being here is not by chance. It's been hard work and faith. You have to have a strong conviction that you can win, considering the battle I was up against. The war stories, will leave that for later. but she's right.
I think we have another caller. Okay, so good morning. Your name and where you calling us from? And now we didn't maybe our first few.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I mean Iman because free North Carnation.
Okay, Iman of Carnation. Let's Kasayit.
Share doctor. Yeah. We mommy did personally we said that in Banation once on the hospital. But we went there on that some interview with him. But the way I orchestra in fact, I said yeah, or and I some. In fact, yes, or you good that say things to Kano is good, meaning that, but there's very few mission no. In fact, my map and not and see a bomb telling me about tree. On thing now Uncle Pay on one bedroom. Number which my and farmer and Sowutuom about to shadow. Now, ma'am, yes, and politicians didn't know why. What happened when you know put them the shape again with and one with for name shade of color. One count yes son. In go to me yet. In your sense, all on Yamia losing Kuno Kupima. Opa, my papa and farmer Manapa, or Sandy Quimo and San Maria Ho if your boy had to call Desert what side now. I'll quite need more war on yet me now. Yes, and the doctor, Yamia, the Madiaboku, now we didn't come to my now or Dama, Nimper Shadow for Kata, much more to Maka.
Imayadase. All right. Okay, so I think he's also mentioned some road projects that he thinks you should work on.
Absolutely.
So I want you to give us a fair idea of your plan. Is it a long-term plan to be in politics, or let's take the constituency for instance? There could be a projection of I want to have 2 terms, 1 term, 3 terms. Do you have that in mind now, or you want to take it one?
I'm about the job really. So as of now, I want to live in the moment,
okay,
which is the next 4 years, and then we'll see how it goes.
I asked because some of the projects are long-term projects. And
well, I mean, the thing is, if the vision is right and you get people around it, then we can say that, okay, this will go first and that will go second. So I think in a nutshell, I've told you where my vision is that to become very dependent on ourselves and to look for help, not just within government but outside. So with that said, floods, I mean, the Flood Institute is not long term, it's immediate. We need it, ensure fire. So it can be long term. It's short long term, let me put it that way. It has to happen now.
Immediate. So which is part of your first 100 days?
We'll start working on it. I mean, in fact, honestly, I've started making calls and things because there's an issue that I'm not waking up to now. It's been there. It's just that now I have the leverage, being the parliamentary candidate, to be able to make the calls further and to talk longer in that capacity. So, yeah.
Emmanuel Adote Alote, the NDC candidate, is also working hard. The fact that the margin is wide, anything can happen in politics. Don't you think he can overturn the deficits? Looking at the work he's been doing, he's been here a couple of times, twice, and he's spelled out clearly his policies to his constituents and what he has that your party hasn't been able to offer the constituents of Okay, let me pick this call. Then I'll get back to you. Hello. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, but I'm Kasafri Santa Maria.
Okay, it's you. Pacho Udi.
But it's some Kuman.
Timan, very well. Kasa it's you.
Me pastor, Dr. Medical Channel, Madanasi. So I had it. Na kakra mbeka chene se sisi ano waban. Omo motina se open nanchi. Na mo unti onwa kasanko fom. Na yesi na ma Anyaa Sowutuom aseye. Se bebe wa ma fo bu fu nka shuto yi as esenko to no ma bebre obian si ho. Ono so mi se bebe o che no. Bebe papa adwuma wono. Issue SL to limit the issue so amanfo. Na amanfo bu fu yi. Na me pese le body high TV so. Me da na se bebre.
Yo, yes say that say. I said, "Anybody there was a show near the Danny program."
I think you be quick so okay say alote yejuma. I mean, senior or no no. It's okay. The thing is, I have lived in the community and worked for the community. The testimonies of my prior work till now, and my patients are a living testimony. That's what I say. I have no fault of him trying to now come and do work to show up. It's okay.
But Ujidi, do you think that he's now coming? Probably might also have been doing his groundswork that you
where because I'm not aware.
Maybe he's doing it
personally. I'm not aware because if I was, I'll tell you.
Maybe you not being aware doesn't mean he's not doing it.
The name came up after he won their primaries last year, October, and kudos to him for that. But we're looking at a bigger picture here, which is the community at large. And I can start out by saying that my parents have served the community with this hospital, and I have also served the same thing.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I don't know whether I should speak to you because country and
No. My name is Haruna.
Okay, Haruna. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Calling former town chairman.
Okay.
I've seen. I'm watching your program over there.
Okay.
And the doctor there you are seeing, or Dr. Kissi, our MP that you are seeing there. We can see in a human being an angel. I'm telling you.
Okay.
We cannot say it's 100%, but it's a 99.9%.
So any 100 no.
He's a unifier. He's I don't know how to even describe him. In fact, what I would tell him that he should be focused on what he is actually doing. Now, currently, he is even, we are promoting him, not only the Anyaa Sowutuom constituency. In fact, in future, he might be a presidential candidate.
Oh.
Yes.
I'll ask him whether he's
it is. Yes, it is in him. And he's a pastor indeed. If he might be a Muslim, he should be a sheikh.
Oh.
So I give him Sheikh Farouk.
Okay, Sheikh Farouk. He has
So
received it.
we are praying to God that he should succeed at what he is looking for.
Okay.
Inshallah. And I know it is very 100% by Allah's grace, he is going to take the seat.
Very well.
And he is already in the parliament. Already is in the parliament. I dreamt over it even yesterday. I'm not joking.
Okay.
So, and it was even coincident that I saw him. I saw the TV. I opened my this and I saw the channel there. He's already on. I said, Allahu Akbar, inshallah. My dreams had come on. So I say thank you all over, and you, the hoster too. The way you are questioning him, and you are asking him. I think you are also fair, because you are not being biased. You are pushing him what he should say, and what he is saying, it is right, and it is good. You are not considering him. You are asking him what it is.
We are grateful.
And I pray to you too.
Please keep watching Omi TV.
I'm praying Allah to you, all of you over there.
Very well.
Inshallah. Okay. Allah bless all of you there.
Thank you. Ami. But keep watching Omi TV, okay?
Okay.
We have other interesting programs as well.
Inshallah.
All right. Thank you. So I'm still here with Sheikh Farouk. Sheikh Farouk, my message is being out whilst we continue. Okay. So what you say? All right. Thank you. Oye William Kwabna Ayesu. I say, Dr. Kissi, please, what do you have to do to help the youth in your constituency? That's one. Going to say, I pray you win and we will support you. That's Ellen Otinsia. And then back on to say great ideas. We have some other messages. Pacho, final call now. Sheikh, it's almost 11. Pacho, in 30 seconds, you welcome. Your name and where you calling us from?
My name is Felicia. I'm calling from Santa Maria.
All right, Felicia.
Yes.
Talk to us.
But make us say, the doctor power can say, your bomb pie say, any vision, any dreams in your baby, one what to say, Nana, or can't go over his own to me, but you mean so what I could do now, which means your bomb pie say, we be our ordinance have a canoe. Now, couple of tons to tell this now, bomb.
That's Felicia. That's
you.
Okay. Show me TV, they be why. I said, when you Sheikh Farouk, when you Nana, the time no so cool. With them production team say, Omaka Sagumas, Mom say, more 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, they account time no hold on to and then you call it, you know, it will be something, but I'm not sure we can. And see, in wrapping up, talking to your people, no, me mau camera na. Wa shemu. Oh, I see some funny thing and then in Kasa. Okay, into where we are on who they are shame. What do you want shemu there? Emawaha.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you know be our friend?
Oh, your friend me, Maxwell, me kasefri Anyaa Sowutuom, and Santa Maria.
Okay, Maxwell Pacho it you.
Me de me bo Dr. Abaso. Ni nyuma ene ni honam se.
Okay.
It's near the Pabo better na ni aims and objectives ni the person or your constituency ni nyina no ebebo mu sene 2024 na besan so atwa so because the enemy fit the person me catch doctor and say I wish him well.
Okay.
Bye.
And that's it. Only your last caller. We know ding to what boy room. Anyway, Doctor Anti Pacho you know in wrapping up. But now I can bro for now the training from France. Send a baby
Didi kind me da obadi na se so am yen na face mo program me so me da mo say mo invite me na kakra metimi aka na say me ba besom Anyaa Sowutuom na hawa ewo mu no meso metimu elbinim enye yemfa say afeina me behu na mene ebusua matna ache na kwan bia so no me bana mabeboa na ye haw no eso ate ewo kwan ben so ya pomudin mu ye ejuma pemu ena ya kwan a ekoyemfie eno ahwe nkumi se mabrewa bi se ofa taxi a edini dru baby na taxi ne se mama mo kwan nyenti just a while see enante and I think some message is what rings in my mind all the time say see a buona imputunjua eba na emabunu so nya bibi eye enti at the core of it mesremo say young ko anchor register anto aba ebema masem ka ewa ban mu no ayedin enti yen kona obia otempatemu ha no kona ko trodin na ebase mekogina aban ni mama kase nipa dodo sein ehaw ena mede ba monim enti muntie yen na momboa yen na yempuntuo yakwan ni insure area no eso ente Anyaa Sowutuom for once again this is Dr. Adomako Kissi and I'm here largely to serve the community and I'm with you. I'm the guy you know. You've known me for a long time and I'm only in a new capacity to help our community develop and to gain a higher height. And I can promise you one thing. I'm going to work as hard as I can and tirelessly as I can to project Anyaa Sowutuom. And in a little bit in the future, I hope that our youth will be a living testimony of the changes that have come to Anyaa Sowutuom since they gave me the opportunity. And my doors will forever remain open. And I'm open to ideas from all, both close and far, to help us develop together. So I'm your candidate come December 7th. I'll be on the ballot and on the ticket of the best party in the country, the New Patriotic Party, the party that is for progress, the party that will take Ghana where it's supposed to be, and the party that has the best president for a longer time, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Yes, na Dr. Adomako Kissi, and remember me in your prayers, and remember the president in your prayers. We all need your prayers as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Host,
Sheikh.
Or if I should say Mr. Hoster, which somebody said. And Ruben, I think you've been great. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
I'm humbled.
And keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Your success is also my success since you are within the community. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Producer Pacho Mungeti, Mr. Jew, and Kelvin Boy Ready Mommy. We are also about to thank you for the opportunity you've granted us. Indeed, we've pushed hard, and we know your schedules wouldn't permit you earlier, but you've made time to come. I think you would have been in Parliament to probably observe the finance minister's delivery and
I'm
others.
going to watch
You are going exactly. Oh, what
now that
the time
I couldn't go. Yeah.
We are grateful for coming, and we are always open to each and every political party who has the constituency at heart. And so this is your house. We are always open. Like you said, you will be here frequently to outdoor your projects and get to tell us and update us on whatever you are doing. We are grateful once again. Thanks for coming. So officially we are conferring on you, Sheikh. I forgot the Sheikh Farouk. Anyway, so that does it for the national platform this morning. My name is Ruben Tete. We'll be here same time next week, Doctor. Thanks for coming. I can see Derek, I can see Nana Kwame, I can see Isaac, I can see Sophia, I can see all the guys, all those I'm seeing you. Have a nice morning. MCR, good morning. Play me my song.
Oh.
Mr. Jew, Kelvin Boy,